Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode. This is episode 2 of the UBEC podcast, the Unholy Brotherhood of the Electric Church. We're coming to you on January 29th. Today's Sunday, and we are here to give you your sermon. Hey, Will, how was your week this week? Anything to catch us up on?
Good, very uneventful, just the way I like it. Nothing too crazy, nothing too wild. I made it through the week. We're starting another one, so I'm happy for that. How about yourself, Chief?
Well, that's all we can ask for is getting through another week. The week itself was pretty good. I mean, I had some crazy thoughts. I mean, I really don't want to get too ranty, but just stupid shower thoughts, man. Shit that runs through my head, and some of it just, I don't know, it's winding me up. And like I was thinking, I mean, do you even want to hear what I've been thinking? Because it's some crazy stuff, man.
Yeah, the crazier the
Okay, so I was thinking about pandas, man. Like, I don't understand. Like,
better.
pandas, dude, like the Chinese pandas, and our want to save them. Like, we like feel this. And what started this was I was at work, and this lady's sitting there watching, like, and it's old video, man. It's old from when the eagles were born down at the National Zoo. And I'm like over her shoulder, and I'm like, she wasted an entire day talking about this shit. So I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're wasting, and they do that with like the pandas and shit too.
Yeah, I
So
know they do.
what are you're wasting, and you're working on company time, and you're just sitting there, looking at this fucking panda, dude. Like, first and foremost, the pandas don't even give a shit about their own life. Like, they sit there and they're eating what's killing them, dude. They're eating nothing but bamboo.
Right.
Like, what happened evolutionary to them where, because their stomach is built for meat and protein, but these dumb shitheads are like, oh no, we'd rather sit here and eat bamboo, and we don't want to have sex anymore, we don't want to procreate. Their gestation period's so long, probably because of the shit diet that they eat. And I'm no expert, I don't know, I might be wrong. So PETA, if you want to step in, I'm probably not going to listen to you anyway. You're not going to change my fucking opinion. But pandas are stupid. I don't understand. Like, I can't. They're fat, lazy. Like, and I mean, I'm a big dude, but I mean, I know that, and maybe I eat what kills me a little bit, but I try to be a little healthier from time to time. Look,
Right.
I got diabetes. I try to stay away from fucking sugar. Your whole breed is dying. Try to stay away from the goddamn bamboo.
Yeah,
Maybe go eat a fish or something. Because that's what all the vegans like to do anyway. They want to say they're vegans, but they'll still like, and there's some hardcore vegans out there that won't touch anything. So I'm not talking about them, but I'm talking about the vegans. They're like, oh, I'm a vegan. I only partake in dairy, eggs, and fish. Well, you're not a fucking vegan. What a fish is a living being. It's not like, the
right.
fuck are you thinking here? Like, I just eat the egg. So you eat the unborn offspring. Like, you didn't even give that fucker a chance of life, you know? So that this shit just kind of gets me going, man. And then I started thinking on top of this, because we're talking about extinction, and I'm sure you've seen in the comments on some like bad news articles or something, or like climate change and stuff like that, where people are like, oh, it's humans that are destroying the earth. Maybe we're the problem. Maybe we should just go. So you're saying, like, you're sitting there speaking right now that you would willingly wipe out the entire human race? Or are you just saying, like, there should only be a select few humans, and we should, radicalize and harshly, project what sustainable populations are? Are you just saying kill everybody? Like, it's a stupid conclusion to come to. Like, what's worse, like, beavers destroy ecosystems, don't they, when they build their dams?
Yeah, they do. They do a lot of destruction.
Yeah. So I mean, really, are we the only species? Like, and what happens if a fucking monkey evolves again? Or what happens if a giraffe evolves into a smart being? You never know. You're walking around here long necking and shit. That would be the rise of the giants. You got fucking that Bible story with the little stick and stones. What's his name?
David and Goliath.
Yeah, you got Goliath. Imagine how big a Goliath giraffe would be. It'd be monstrous. I mean, So this is where my head goes, and then I started thinking, because we're talking about, like, I was thinking like
Oh
all this
boy.
woke shit. So and then I started watching this. I was watching this baking show with the kids and stuff, and they're talking. They had this segment in this one, and I understand her backstory. It's they always have the sad stories too. Whenever on those TV shows,
Yeah.
everybody's got a sad story, and I just, man, it irks me sometimes. Well, this woman sitting around talking about income inequality and all this and that, and kids going hungry and people going hungry, kids going to school for sustenance. And it's like, so you're on a baking show, like, you're blessed anyway just to be on it. So you're getting your name out there. And then you want to talk about income inequality. What do you do with those cakes when you're done cooking them? The judge said, man, this is the shittiest thing I've ever tasted in my life. So what are you doing with the cake? You're throwing the shit in the dumpster. So you want to talk on this platform about wasteful and inequality, but then you throw away the goddamn cakes. You
You
know?
got me on. You got me on that one. I'm stumped on that one myself.
So this shit just, and I try not to I let small things bother me. I'm not gonna lie. I try not to let them bother me. But whenever I have these thoughts like this, I get into a fucking tornado of other thoughts. And it's good to get it off my chest. So you've been my therapist today. But that's pretty much how my week's been. I had some other incidents, but I think we'll, maybe try to save those for later or next time. I mean, there's been
Well,
some other situations.
the good thing is you hide it very well. Your emotions, you hide them very well. I mean, by that rant we just got, we couldn't tell that little things bothered you.
Yeah, well, ride in a car with me for about 5 to 10 minutes, and you'll start seeing the real. I could probably, if I was on like Big Brother or something, or the movie that Jim Carrey did, whatever it was, Ed TV or whatever. I have cameras all around me at all times.
Was that
I just
the
The Truman
Truman
Show.
Show?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ed TV. I don't know. I was thinking Ed TV, but yeah, like that. Like, you'd be like, "What the fuck is wrong with this guy?"
I'm already coming up with I'm already questioning what's wrong with you right now. So I can imagine after a car ride.
But it's them damn pandas, man. That's the one that really gets my goat, man. It just, why are you eating that bamboo? And we're so set on saving them. They have literally no impact to any ecology, really. I mean, there's literally like 1,800 left in the entire world. How much of an
We
impact is it going to have whenever they die? Now, the bees, maybe we should consider saving some bees.
yeah.
Maybe we
Yeah.
take that money that we're spending on the fucking pandas and we transfer it over to the bees. That's a good answer, in my opinion.
Yeah, we're trying to save an animal that just has a great time offing itself, you know? It's tough.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, I
So
don't know. I don't know. I mean, so in other segments we have, I really don't know where to go after that rant. I mean, it's still, there's the train running around in my head now just with the pandas. I'm telling you, man, they make me see red. Not the red pandas either, the big giant panda.
yeah, the real ones.
Yeah, the ones that are so cute and are on the WWF logo.
Yeah, yep. I know. I know what
It's
you're
just,
talking about.
they want to beg for money.
Fuck those little begging pandas.
Well, and then they blame it on deforestation is the reason the pandas are dying. No, they're dying because their gut is set up for a specific fucking diet, and they're eating bamboo. Yeah, we're cutting the bamboo down, but if the dumb assholes would eat meat, maybe we wouldn't have to worry about the bamboo forests. See, you get me going again, man. I'm telling you, I don't want to
Sorry.
do this, but
I didn't intend on that, man. I didn't.
these damn pandas, dude.
I'm not I'm not stoking this fire, Bubba. I'm sorry, man.
You're just looking at me and I can see it. You're just like, how far am I going to let him go with these pandas?
Pretty much.
he just he's really having a hard time with this, and you're just like, maybe this is something that he needs to get off his chest. Maybe I should see a therapist about these pandas, dude.
It might help. It might
It
help.
might. I should tell him my deepest darkest desires about pandas and how I'd wish they'd just go extinct already.
I'd wait till your second session before you start getting too deep, but yeah, I mean, you might get there eventually.
Get in there and get to know him first, and then drop the ball or the hammer.
and then decide whether he wants to keep you as a patient or not.
Yeah, whether he would ethically and morally want to keep me as a patient. This is some Charles Manson shit, man.
This guy's fucked.
So yeah, man, we've been binging Pawn Stars this week, man. You really got me on a kick, man. I used to watch it all the time, back in the day, and thought I'd seen everything, and then you go back and rewatch episodes. So I think it's time for us to pick some Pawn Stars, man, and see the scenarios that you have lined up for us this week.
Well, true or false? I mean, if you grew up in the same time that we grew up and you were a South County white boy, I'm sorry, but you religiously watched Pawn Stars and probably Pickers and, all the other ones. But Pawn Stars, I mean, true or false, mom or dad or whoever, it was on TV all the time. Like you couldn't get away from it.
Didn't that kind of start like the History Channel kind of lean into like
Yeah.
reality?
That was when History Channel went from documentary style shows to more of their reality style shows. And buddy, they took that ball and ran with it because I haven't seen documentary stuff besides Ancient Aliens on there in years, man.
Yeah, and I mean that's where, and that was like Pawn Stars. That's why it was a breath of fresh air because I like all the old stuff, like the World War II stuff. I would sit and watch like World War II in color, Vietnam in color, sit there
Yeah,
and watch like modern marvels and all that. And then so when Pawn Stars came along, it was like a breath of fresh air. I was like, man, this
sure.
is cool. And they're actually still talking about history and stuff, but it's like you get a unique take on it. You get a modern opinion on historical artifacts, which is really cool, and that's why I enjoy it.
Absolutely.
And
I
it
agree
and it
with
just
you.
doesn't go in like to like actual history. It goes into like pop history and things of that nature. So that's why I always, man, I was like, this show is cool as shit. It covers all areas of history.
Right. I
So
agree. Well, if for those of you out there that aren't familiar, Pawn Stars was a show on the History Channel back in the early to mid 2000s. Ran for God knows how many seasons. I think well over 11, maybe 20 seasons. Um, it's based on a family-owned pawn shop ran by Rick Harrison, who's pretty much the lead guy in the show, and he's got his son working there, Corey Big Hoss. I said Justin or Brandon, but it's Corey. We found out after binging about 200 episodes, and his father, uh, they call him Pops, and he's passed away now. And then the fourth one is Chumley, who's everybody's favorite. He's like the shop knucklehead, and people just bring in stuff, and they pretty much appraise it, and decide whether they want to buy it or not, and you always get a little bit of insight on the product. So we're fans of the show. Um, we, as much as we make fun of them, we love the show too. But our segment on here we do from week to week is pick your pawn stars. So we're gonna list three separate scenarios, and I'm gonna present them to Dustin. But you guys at home, feel free to throw your answers down in the comment section as well, because we'd love to hear them. This week's going to be a little bit different. Okay, this week we're leaving out Rick. All right, are you cool with that?
we're leaving Rick out.
We're leaving Rick out of all three.
Okay. He's normally the go-to, so I can understand why you do that. Let's get creative with it a little bit. Because I'd pick Rick for just about any scenario, if I'm being honest.
Exactly. Come on, man. I mean, groupies want the lead singer. Let's be honest. Rick's the lead singer. It's hard to pick somebody over the front man, and Rick's the most sensible out of all four of them. True or false?
No, for sure. Yeah, definitely. It's the most grounded, even out of Pops. I mean, Pops had his little, he was a pretty eccentric guy. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think Rick is. Yeah, I agree with that. He's the most sensible.
Pops gets a little wild too sometimes.
Yeah, he actually liked Chum Lee's wine.
Yeah, well, what does that tell you?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so Dustin, for scenario number one, you decided to Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, pretty similar to this, and you decide you want to skydive, okay? And you're going to a professional skydiving school, and you're not even going to go to the school. You're just going to jump, okay? And you know how that works, all right? When you jump, you got the guy that knows what he's doing strapped to your back, right? You've seen that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the scenario is you're getting ready to jump off the plane. You have the instructor strapped to your back. You guys are getting ready to jump at the highest altitude. You can pick one of the three remaining Pawn Stars, not Rick, but the other three, to be the guy strapped to your back as your instructor. Who do you pick and why?
Oh man, it might kill him, but I'm going with Pops on that one because he's a military man and maybe he has some experience that he didn't talk about. We all know he liked talking about his experiences, but maybe he missed one. And because I definitely don't trust Chumley would not be behind me controlling anything, when my life's in jeopardy. So I mean, yeah, it would definitely have to be Pops. A close second would be Corey, just because if we're talking circa like now Corey, like current Corey, I'd,
Yeah.
I'd take Corey too. Now, just because he's probably jumped out of a couple planes. He looks like he's kind of a thrill seeker. But yeah, before I would take Pops as my definite first choice, just because he's cool and collected under pressure, and I think he would make sure that we landed safely,
Yo,
even if it kills him.
shout out to Corey though, man. From watching season 1 to then going to season 11 on Hulu, Corey lost like what, over 100 pounds
Oh
from
yeah,
then.
I'd say as big as he was probably pushing 350.
Yeah.
So he might even have lost 150, maybe even two. Well, no, not 200. I don't think he's 150, but yeah, he's probably about 200 pounds right now, maybe 225. I don't know exactly how tall he is, but yeah, man, Rick's lost weight and Chum. They've all lost some good weight, and
Yeah.
because even Chum looks pretty good now. They've better than me. They're all smaller than me. So, but yeah, they were some big dudes.
Yeah, shout out to Big Hoss on that one, man. I think out of all of them, I definitely see the most dramatic weight loss on him, you know?
Yeah, now he wants to be a Wish version of Jax Teller, from Sons of Anarchy. He's out there riding choppers. Man,
Yeah.
he's probably got about 10 wives by now. You
Dude
know, his
dude
mom
thinks he
keeps killing them all.
the dude thinks he's a Redwood original now.
Definitely does, man. Thinks he's a man of mayhem.
All right, well we'll move on to the next one. Okay, this is going to be another interesting one. Once again, no Rick. All right, so you have the remaining three to pick from. uh, Dustin, picture this, and let's hope this doesn't ever happen. You get sent to X amount of years in prison. I mean, we're talking you're going to be doing some long time. All right, in this prison, you have one other cellmate, okay? And this other cellmate is going to be doing as much time as you are. So you guys are going to be strapped, locked up together. You're probably going to dinner and chow hall at the same time. All right. Who do you pick out of the three to be your cellmate for this long period of jail time that you're going to be doing?
Well, we just talked about Chum made the wine. I mean, I'm gonna have to be drunked up a little bit, and if I'm in lockup, so I'm taking Chum all the way on this one. I think he's a pretty good negotiator because he kind of plays the clown a little bit. So I
Right.
think we could get over on some, getting some free soups for a couple scoops of coffee. I
Right.
think he's got that game down. Uh, I think we could have fun. I think he's lighthearted, so I could pick on him and he wouldn't know any better, and he'd just go with the flow. I think it would make my time go a lot easier if I had Chum in there. And I don't know, man. Dude might be packing. He might have that Dumbo strength where, he's just an idiot savant but he's really strong. And maybe he's protecting me.
Yeah, there you go.
Dude walks up to me and here comes Chum just with a tray of food and smashes dude just like, and I smash, like the dude with the hatchet. He just
the
comes in out of nowhere, the hatchet wielding hitchhiker.
Kai the hitchhiker.
Yeah, so I think that's a safe bet too. I don't think I want Corey. Corey's lived a life of more or less privilege. Him and Chum were friends, so we don't really know much about Chum's backstory, but I could say he's probably like an average citizen like us. Didn't have any special handouts or anything. And Pops is just too old. I mean, if I took Pops in his prime Navy days, we'd be talking a different discussion, but I don't want to have to be taking care of changing those shitty diapers in the pen.
You know what, Big Hoss, man, he seems like such a pompous dick sometimes. I really feel like he'd be the guy that would get you stuck in prison. You know what I mean? You'd walk out there and think you're gonna get ready to start lifting weights, and before you know it, you'd be getting stuck by, you know, three or four guys down to the ground bleeding, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I wouldn't take him into prison with me. It's not a
I
safe
think
call.
I'd probably have to go with Chum too. I think Chum would probably be the most fun in there because, yeah, you got to keep things lighthearted. And although he's kind of silly, it might not be that bad, you know, with somebody like him.
Well, it's like I said, we've seen him make that wine,
You got
you know.
Hooch.
So yeah, definitely we could start a racket on that too.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Make a couple ramen noodles off of the deal, some stamps. Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
We'd be in there, we'd be the distributors, we'd be the Jim Beam of, Allegheny Correctional Facility.
The Evan Williams.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go.
All right, last and final one. And this is going to be a tough one, man. It really is. The house down the street is on fire, okay? And it's a blazing fire, all right? You know that you can get in there and you got enough time to save one person. Unfortunately, there's three people in that house, okay? Chumley, Pops, and Big Hoss. Dustin, you going in that house, you're knocking the door down. Who do you save?
First and foremost, let's just say I'm no firefighter. So, just for the sake of being realistic, I'm not going in at all. But if I had to, I would go in and I would save Corey.
You'd save Hoss.
Yeah, I'd save Corey. He's the eventual owner of the pawn shop. He would be indebted to his for his life to me. Uh, and I would look at it as a purely strategic move to ensure my future financial success in life. It's a pretty narcissistic way to look at it, but I'm being totally honest. If I have to run into a burning house, I'm doing it for some kind of gain. Outside of my family or my like close friends, I'm not running into a house burning for anybody, you know. So
Okay.
if I do it for someone that I don't know, even though I like him, I like his show, doing it for someone that could help set me up. I'm gonna hold him to it too. I'm telling him, remember that house that you were in that was ablaze and I ran in, no fear of myself, and saved your life. Now you can help save my life. I need a new podcast studio, bro. I need a new car. What are you giving? It's kind of a fucked up way to look at it, but it's the truth.
That's pretty fucked up.
Would you rather me lie? From the
No,
goodness of my heart,
I like honesty.
I'll go in and save all three of them. That's what someone would say. I would sacrifice my life if it meant that three more lives would live. No, you wouldn't, you dumbass. You lying.
You can only save one in this scenario.
Yeah, but there's people out there who be like, I would save them all because I'm Superman.
Uh, all right, you'd save Hoss. Me, I'd have to save Pops, man. You know, he's a veteran. I feel like the man needs he would need it more. You know, if Chum and them they can't get out of that house, you know Pops ain't gonna be able to get out of that house, man. You know, so I'd probably go with Pops.
He's got one foot in the grave already, dude.
Well, I'm gonna help pull him at least the other one out.
Well, I respect your prerogative on that. Don't necessarily agree, but I
that's my
respect
per-
it.
that's my prerogative.
Like the 90s song.
Yeah, exactly.
So we got those. Man, there's some good scenarios, dude.
Yeah, and you know what? Once again, shout out to Pawn Stars, man. We make a lot of jokes about them, but we love the show. You can find, I think, 3 or 4 seasons, and the first season, which is one of the best, on Hulu right now, and then Freevee, the free streaming app, which is on most smart devices now. I know it's on Amazon Fire Stick. They're on a marathon on Sunday, so shout out to Pawn Stars, man. Shout out to Rick the God. You know.
Yeah, and I think if you have like Amazon Prime or if you have Discovery Plus or if you have the Discovery Plus add-on on anything, I think they're on there as well because there's
Yeah.
certain shows that A&E like bought or I don't know, maybe A&E owns history, but so it's multiple ways you can view the show.
Right.
So
Right.
definitely go check it out, man. You're missing out. If you've never watched it, you're definitely missing out.
You got to see it, man. And once again, Rick is always an unholy saint, or well, a holy saint in our church. So when you come into our church, there's going to be a picture of Rick. Just be ready for it.
Yeah, I think that Rick actually he supersedes. I think we just made him like an archangel. He's kind of like Michael. He's up there chilling with Michael and
Yeah,
all them. Yeah, he's our archangel. So
hell yeah.
our holy saint. Yeah, and then he's got his saints below him. You know, Pops, Chum, and Hoss. They're his saints that go out and do his bidding and bringing good to the world. So
There's angels.
they are. Yep,
They're his disciples, I guess.
disciples of Rick.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna say it right now. What do you think? I think Rick's the holy saint of the week.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've read articles about him being a good guy. He gives away to charity. I don't know many specifics just because I don't like jot it down and it's not something that I need to remember, but he is good with the community. You know, he does a lot of good for people. I've seen some deals that he's done, pawning on the pawn side, and people like to, clown on pawn shops, but I mean, it's a way for people that are underprivileged and maybe don't have the credit to get some money, and he's taken some risks on people, like any pawn shop does. So I think as a whole, he's brought light to the whole pawn industry. I mean, I'm sure you still have some sharks out there and stuff, but as a whole, the reputable pawn businesses, he's done a lot for that, to help a lot of underserved people that maybe couldn't go get a credit card or something like that.
Right.
So definitely holy saint, man. Definitely. He is a long time holy saint.
It has
That
been
brings,
it has been declared Holy Saint of the Week, Rick Harrison from Pawn Stars.
so we're going to get into the unholy saints next. And we're all in this story right now. Everybody's seen it. It's unfortunate. I really don't like giving a platform, so I don't know their names, and I'm not going to talk about them individually. We're just going to say the 5 police in Memphis that were in the Scorpion unit. I think they've definitely earned that title of unholy saints. If you've watched the video, we're not going to show it on here. It is pretty graphic. Regardless of your views on any other cases, this is what it's about. And, we're not sharing any opinion on police departments or police brutality. There are good cops, there's bad cops, just like there's a good cashier and a bad cashier all the way down to the bottom, so, but you can't condone what they did. And they definitely have deserved the unholy saint title. And I hope that they rot in hell. I mean, it's pretty bad what they did. That was a gang thug beating. Do you agree?
Agreed. Oh, absolutely. Definitely the unholy saints of the week. Pieces of shit in my book.
Definitely. You hate to see, even if he was doing something wrong, you know, part of the American way is that you're guilty or innocent until guilt or proven guilty, and a lot of times in this country, across all uh, race gaps, you're guilty until proven innocent. Now, I'm not going to say wealth gaps, because wealth gaps, if you're a super wealthy person, man, you can pay that bond like that and you're out and you can afford the best defense, so definitely there is a socioeconomic factor to how you're policed. And these guys are just, they use their power behind that badge to brutally beat someone and kill someone. Whether he did anything or not is irrelevant. If he didn't have a weapon, even if he was resisting, you don't kill someone. So it's a
Agree.
pretty heavy topic, but I feel that we do owe it to the kid, Tyre, however you say his name. I don't want to butcher it, but we owe it to him and his family to at least bring it up and put them on our shitbox list of unholy saints. They're just 5 disgusting human beings. And we have a new person, or a new title for someone. It's someone that's in purgatory. So they've done something that's kind of bad, but not really bad. They're generally a good person. And our guy that's in purgatory right now, he's a local hero to many. When the Crazy Horse was in town, he often dined at that fine establishment. I think he had a commercial about their expansive menu. And I think we're safe to say that old Lion Loose Galley is in purgatory right now. So, well, I'm going to get into a little story. I drive a lot for work. So all around industrial neighborhoods, interstates, and I see a lot behind the wheel. I get cut off a lot, just overall dumb drivers. And that's not to say that I'm perfect, But Lion Lou cut me off at a traffic circle the other day, and it pissed me off because you yield to the left, and he just burned through it, almost hit me, and he looked at me like, and I'm like, I said, that's fucking Lou Scally. I said, you know what? You can't tell the goddamn weather, and you can't drive either. And he couldn't hear me, but I wish he could have. So, I mean, it's just that one, man, Lion Lou. Lion, not driving Lou. I mean, they even have an alley, Lou Scally Alley, out in North Hagerstown, named after him. So I know that he's a beloved figure, but damn, man, you got to be safe behind the wheel of the car. And I think that the two ways that you can get out of purgatory is either you learn how to drive or you surrender your license, or you get back on the TV. You get back on WDVM here in Maryland and in our small little community, and you give us some good weather forecasting. You get on there and you be right for once. You don't tell us we're getting a blizzard and it's 50 degrees. You don't tell us that it's going to be 75 degrees in April and it's 20 degrees with a wind chill of 2. You know, those are the two saving graces for you, Mr. Lou.
You lying piece of crap, you.
Man, and like I said, he is a great guy. I've met him and he is a super nice guy. But there are two things that really drag you down in my book, and that's driving ability and not being able to tell the weather. We talk about the weather every day. I mean,
yeah,
and everybody likes to laugh about it, but it's a main topic of conversation through coworkers and everybody. We all, hey, it's going to be warm tomorrow. We all bring it up. So if you're giving us bad information, we say, hey, you know, I was watching the news this morning. Lou said it was going to be sunny tomorrow, and it ends up, you know, raining cats and dogs. We look like the asshole then. So you're responsible for us. You know, you've got a commitment and a responsibility to the public to tell the truth whenever you're talking about weather.
It affects us all.
It does. I need to know whether I need to wear a jacket. You know, I got kids, man. I got kids. I need
Agreed.
to know whether they need an umbrella or, you know, what's going on. You want my kids showing up to school soaking wet, smelling like a wet dog?
That's a good point.
They come home with pneumonia. You gonna pay my insurance bill? You know, let's get it right, weather people all across the board, but definitely you, Lou Scally. You have a shot of redemption. So let's see. You don't have to come back full time. We just need a special guest, like once a month. Tell us the weather outlook.
And that's what's gonna pull that man out of purgatory in your book and
Yeah,
your
or if he
your
brings
eyes.
if he brings the crazy horse back, or red horse, whatever that diner was. You remember that place up there on Halfway? Yeah.
Hell yeah.
If he brings that back, and they actually have some decent food, I'd give him a shot at that. I want some alligator tail or something like that. You know, I'd eat some of that and go in there but he'd have to have dinner with us and be a guest on the podcast too.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
We'd do a live podcast episode at the restaurant, eating dinner with Lion Lou.
That'd be so cool.
Eating some filet mignons with, I don't even like it, but I'd eat it with him, crab legs and shrimp, get us some octopus, get us some, you know, calamari, because that shit's delicious.
I was at a church function, a church breakfast, and he and his wife were there. So I technically have had breakfast with him. Now he didn't eat with me, but he was not real close to me, you know?
Yeah, he's not that big of a celebrity. That's some shit you share about, like, if you ate dinner at the same restaurant as Matthew McConaughey at the same time. That's when you say you had dinner with him. No, you were right. You had breakfast and he was there. You didn't. So you got to save those levels for other celebrities, because then you could be like, yeah, man, I had breakfast with Matthew McConaughey. You didn't have breakfast with no Lou Scally.
It was technically breakfast.
Well, whether it was breakfast, brunch, lunch, dinner, second dinner, snack, you know, whatever it was, because I mean, that's how I eat every day. I get up, I get me a little breakfast pieces of something, some kind of pastry, something. I eat my lunch, come home, I get a snack normally. Then I eat my dinner, sit around for a little while, eat second dinner, and then I eat some snacks before I'm going to bed. So I don't know what just took me on that tangent, but
you could do the Corey Harrison, the Big Hoss diet, three meals of crystal methamphetamine, and you'll lose a whole person's worth of weight.
Well, I do the Dustin Hutzel diet of diabetes, and that's shed me about 12 pounds. So Type 2. Look at what it can do for you. Just drink Monsters until you're pissing every 30 seconds and your heart palpitates and your vision goes blurry and the doctor tells you your sugar's at 600.
There you go.
You'll be like, man, how'd I lose all this weight? I've lost 30 pounds in 2 months.
Yeah, that's something.
Maybe my body's eating itself.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. It's great. It's not, but it is. It's funny, So we all laugh at things we shouldn't. So don't go woke or you'll go broke. Laugh at yourself, bro. My kids got me saying that shit all the time, man. They call me bro. My fucking 9-year-old and the 13-year-old call me bro and shit.
What's up, bro?
They'd be like, did you see that, bro? What? I'm your dad. No, bro. And then they'll do it to each other. Bro. I'm like, will you two shut up with that shit? And they get Eileen doing it. Eileen walking around, little 3-year-old ass, thinks she's perfect. Bro.
What's up, bro?
Dad, you see that, bro? You want to play dinosaurs, bro? No, you little shit. I want to play dinosaurs with you until you come back correct and say you want to play dinosaurs with me, daddy, and then I'll play some dinosaurs with you.
Right.
But until then, it ain't gonna happen.
Right.
So what we got? We're gonna do some news too. We're gonna get into some of the news, national, local. We don't really know. We're just gonna tell you the news that's important to us. We don't really care about your thoughts or feelings on it because we like our news. We want to tell you what we think's interesting. And you're going to listen because you think it's interesting to find what we find interesting.
Yes, sir.
So I'm interested in seeing what Willie D came up with for the news.
Well, it's been a sort of a big week with news. How about I fire off a couple headlines and you tell me which ones you want to go to first? How's that sound?
That sounds good.
All right. Number one, published by the New York Post. This was January 18th. I went to a bar that was staffed by robots. They charged me a 10% tip. That's the title of the article, and it goes a little more in depth. Number two, this was 4 days ago, January 25th. North Korea locks down capital city over a respiratory illness. This was published by Routers. I don't know how you say it. Number three, this was published by today.com. I guess it's the same today that NBC is. All right. The FBI investigates fentanyl sales on Snapchat. All right. And then we'll go with number four. This will be the last one. Posted by insider.com. Ukraine says Russia's putting inflatable tanks on the battlefield, but the decoy is deflated.
Well, I think we go again with something that's a little more lighthearted. So let's start with the last. I think that's it's an interesting thing. I mean, it's not necessarily unheard of, but putting deflatable tanks, I think back in the day in like World War II and things like that, when we actually fought wars against countries that had similar militaries as ours, that was something we did. So it's not totally uncommon. Deflatable is kind of silly, but I guess you'd want it now because we have satellite imaging and all that.
Well, we'll go a little more into depth. So a couple of talking points from this article. Ukraine accused Russia of staging inflatable tanks near Zaporizhia, if that's how you pronounce it, in a Thursday Facebook post. But the Russian decoys unintentionally deflated, according to Russian officials. Russia has employed deceptive warfare for decades, but its recent efforts have apparently fizzled.
So it's recent. So they haven't been successful with the decoys. So obviously Ukraine got the tip. That's also, I mean, and that's something that us, I say us, we as Americans don't really realize because we're in the middle of nothing. Like it's us, Canada, Mexico, and then you go down to South America. So, I mean, we're not used to having a country right beside us either. So, I mean, who's really giving away? Like, it's a little harder for like espionage and things like that too. So it could have, I just don't have faith in, unless we're giving them the satellite information, which isn't I don't think that's unrealistic that we're giving them information, as far as any kind of espionage goes. But they're literally countries right beside each other fighting, whereas we fight and we fought countries across vast oceans. So it's not like, Himmler was over in Germany and he's like over there. He's like, yeah, I got this snitch, man. He's over there in America, bro. And they're about to drop the H bomb on Japan. Well, that happened after the fall of the Third Reich anyway. But that conversation wasn't going to happen, I don't think. Whereas like you're Ukraine, and there's probably a lot more leaks on the Eastern Front during that time of World War II from Germany and Russia. So I mean, it could be like how'd they find out about it, but it's not uncommon to have a decoy. Like I'd rather have Ukraine waste, like if I'm a Russian, I'd rather have Ukraine waste bombs that are costly to the Americans and NATO, their true enemy. And so you're funding something and you're just blowing up a freaking, a bounce house, more or less.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's a little safer. I guess it's better to see decoys out there than these, super intricate killing machines just slaughtering people on the battlefield. It's a lot.
are they saying it as like Russia doesn't have the tanks? They're
No,
trying to project their military as bigger than what it is, because we've seen Russia do that a lot in this war too.
I think that might have a little bit to do with it. I think what they're doing is they're staging these tanks almost as a fear tactic or like a fear campaign,
Okay.
for these small Ukrainian villages. It leaves little to detail in the article, but that's kind of what I'm gathering from it, you know.
Yeah, news on the whole situation over there is kind of sparse. I mean, I've looked up articles and it's like you get the same article from every different news organization, and it's like I want different articles. Like I don't care about what you've talked about, like because that's how a lot of them are. It's like they'll start the article and say in January or February of 2022, and they'll like give you the build up to the war again. It's like we understand what happened. We know what's been going on. Like what happened yesterday?
Right.
What's going on with the funding? Like, and that's a lot of things. Like people, Americans are we're not tired of it, but it's almost like it's being ignored now. It's like how much money are we going to continue to invest in Ukraine? Like, and my biggest fear, like we're giving them tanks. Tanks aren't a defensive uh, part of mechanized warfare. That's an offensive weapon.
Right.
So I mean, I think that Ukraine they're gonna go back and they're gonna try to get the regions that are controlled by Russia previous to the start of the war. I can't remember the name of it off the top. The area, the little peninsula. Um, but are they going to stop there? Do you think that Ukraine might feel emboldened to actually go into Russia? We're sending these weapons to a country that has had a hard time passing NATO standards to join NATO and the UN. So we're just flippantly giving them weapons. We're giving a country that has a history of corruption and conspiracy weapons of death. I understand no one wants to see Russia invade anybody either, but it's like, do we pick? And I guess we had the same conundrum in World War II. Do we pick the Germans or do we pick Russia? I mean, if you remember correctly, Patton wanted to drive directly. He didn't want to stop. He wanted to go from Germany and go straight into Russia and take them out.
Right.
We sit here and we compare Hitler and Stalin, the worst of two evils. I mean, Stalin killed 25 million of his own people. A lot of them were Orthodox Jews, Ukrainian Jews, things like that. So he did the same thing Hitler did. How is he the hero?
Yeah, you make a good point there.
So yeah, Ukraine, it's a tricky situation across the board. The tanks, I mean, it's interesting that Russia's using it, but like I said, it's not totally unheard of. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that aren't into history or military warfare history. So I mean, maybe to them it would be an article of great importance and like, oh, the Russians are using inflatable tanks. But I think you and I, we understand what they're doing there.
Sure.
So, yeah, man. The other one though that you said, the Snapchat, the fentanyl, man, that's pretty wild. That's, because think of the demographics of the kids on Snapchat. I said it as I said the demographics, but it's a lot of kids.
Well, we can go a little more into depth. This was published on January 26th of this year. So I guess what, 4 or 5 days ago.
Yeah.
Um, the article states the FBI is interviewing parents of teens who connected with dealers on Snapchat and died after taking pills with deadly doses of fentanyl. And it doesn't say too much more about that. There's a video tied in with the article that's 2 minutes long. But anybody out there that's listening, you can look this up and watch the full content. But that's kind of the gist of what's going on.
Yeah, it's wild. I'm kind of looking at it right here. The FBI and Justice Department are going to investigate Snapchat. Why are you? I mean, understood, but there's got to be a level of freedom to say this, at the same time. But Snapchat, investigators have already interviewed parents of children who died. Uh, let's see. Justice Department declined to comment to Forbes, and the FBI would neither confirm nor deny. But I mean, if that's, the fentanyl epidemic has superseded the opiate epidemic in the country just because you can get it in anything.
Right. Yeah.
You go back buy a bag of weed, off the street, and it could have even a trace of fentanyl and it can kill you.
I know. It's scary shit, man.
But I mean, if they're selling capsules, to children that are pure fentanyl, and that's the whole thing, it's like they're kids, they don't know any better,
Right.
They what like, hey man, you want to get high, you want to take a little break, you want to, have some fun, here, take this capsule. And any kid, and I mean, when we were kids, and everybody says this, the old generations always say it was different, but it truly was. I mean, we really didn't have anything out there that was hard enough to really kill us. There were definitely cocaine, heroin. You shouldn't have, especially with heroin, the way people in this area, much less the rest of the country, got addicted to it. But, pharmaceutical companies also bear a hand in that as well. It's not just, kids looking for a high. It wasn't just, potheads turning into junkies. It was athletes that tore a muscle that got prescribed Percocets from their doctor. And then when those scripts run out, they go and they're chasing that rabbit.
Right.
So, but for the fentanyl, man, I really feel for the generation of creative and explorative kids out there. Cause I mean, I've done some things in my past, and it wasn't ever about but the thing was, it was never about just leaving reality 100%. It was about having fun, having a good time, and, having a little party. So I think that's why, like, I escaped addiction just because it was never something that I felt that I needed.
Right.
And these kids, they're coming off one time and they want to party and have a good time. And, here comes their mom and wakes them up or tries to wake them up and they're dead because they overdosed on fentanyl. It's just a sad story all around.
Yeah, it is. I agree with you, man. Too much. It happens way too often. You hear those type of stories.
And and they want to blame the cartels and all of this, but I mean, yeah, the cartels are making it, but why would they kill their number one customer? It doesn't make sense. Like, is it coming from something else?
Right.
Like, who is the main, like, they're providing the chemical, but the distribution of it, like, that's where, like, it's the gray area. Like, why you don't, the US is the largest drug market in the entire world. So why would you kill your consumer? It just doesn't make sense to me.
Doesn't make sense to me either, man. It's probably something. It's one of those things I think we'll find more out about like 5 to 10 years from now when there's a documentary on YouTube or on whatever, and we're like, oh, okay, that's why it happened like that.
Like these freelance guys that go out and get deep in like the underworld cultures, like the dude that goes out like to the cobalt mines in Africa where they use slave labor. And
Right.
so it's going to be like one of those dirty, gritty, grimy documentaries where this dude sneaks in maybe to the underbelly of the cartel. Man, I wish
Yeah.
I had some balls, dude, because I'd do it. Like, but I'm not trying to get caught up and die in that, like
Nah, I hear that,
it
man.
would be cool. So hats off to those guys. And maybe we should find some of these dudes that get these breaking documentaries and put them in the queue for our Holy Saints, because they bring a lot of information to light, dude. Like
Yeah.
a lot of things we wouldn't hear about, like even the Twitter files and everything that's been going on with that, with like Elon Musk, Matt Taibbi, and all those guys and girls out there breaking that news story. But we should applaud those guys. The Washington, or is it the Washington Post, or there's one of these that says on the header of the actual newspaper when you go to the website, democracy dies in darkness. But they're the ones that hide their articles. I think
Yeah.
Substack and everything, that's where we need to start going for our news, and we need to find some good independent journalists and get to the news and the truth of the situation, not having these Tim Rollins and people with their opinions.
All right, all right. We'll follow up with the very last one to end this segment. Published by the New York Post, January 18th at 1:06 p.m. Headline: I went to a bar that was staffed by robots. They charged me a 10% tip. A robot operated bar in Las Vegas pushed back on viral TikTok video complaining about an automatic 10% service charge added to the bill. The lady states, and I quote, I normally wouldn't mind an automatic 10% tip for making my drink, but you're a robot. uh, Upton claimed that there was no way to opt out of the charge from the Las Vegas-based bar Tipsy Robot, suggesting that he was forced to tip his robot servers. He also claimed that the lack of ice in his drink was due to a broken machine. What do you think? What are your thoughts on that one, Dustin?
Dude, I wouldn't tip a robot. Like, I have a hard enough time. I do it still, but I don't. I mean, and like, so if I order pizza for a takeout, or if I'm ordering takeout from a restaurant, say like BJ's or, Olive Garden, where because after COVID and everything, they started doing the deliveries and takeouts. So if I order something from, say, Olive Garden, I don't even tip them. Sometimes I might leave them the change, but I'm not literally being served. So I mean,
Right.
even for humans, I don't see the necessity. A lot of companies do include gratuities in the overall charge, yeah, but tipping a robot, that's asinine. And my thing with tipping in general, because this is something that eats me up too, tipping in general.
We're
Okay,
going
so
into a rant, folks. Just hold on. We're going into another rant. Please stand by.
it's not going to be full blown, but as a business owner, if you own a restaurant, with the prices of your menu items, the way that they've risen, even before that we got into this inflation nightmare that we're in, your prices were still outrageous. So, I mean, if I go to Texas Roadhouse and I want to get a steak and it's $25, I know how much a steak costs, one steak. So you're charging me $25 for a steak, a cheap ass baked potato, and a pile of like Stouffer's mac and cheese. This shit that's frozen that comes in that you get cheap. I work in the food and beverage industry. I know wholesale. So you're charging me costs for that. Plus, you're probably making 50, 60, maybe even 70% margins on your products. Okay, so you're doing that. So my solution to you is get rid of tipping altogether and maybe pay your employees a fucking livable wage rather than subsidizing that cost to the end consumer. Like, does Walmart or Wise or Giant or Martin's or Target, Lowe's, do any of them include a tip for your cashier? No, they pay them a certain, and we can argue livable wages, but for the most part, they pay a certain wage that's over minimum wage. A lot of servers get paid shit that's like $2, $3 an hour, and they have to rely on tips. And then the company subsidizes it, it's guess, which is wrong. But I'm damn sure not tipping a robot. So you better get that piece of 10. If you need money that bad, I'll tell you what, Conservate is a scrapyard in Hagerstown, Maryland. They'll take just about anything. You take that robot into them, You scrap it and get you a couple little chump change of 10%, especially if I come in there and I buy one drink for $4. Say I get a beer and it gives me a Bud Light with for $4, which is asinine in itself. But say, so I'm not going to pay 10% on top of that $4 on top of whatever the sales tax is in that estate or in that state where I'm at. So right now, what, you 10% for the gratuity for a goddamn robot, then 6%, say if we're in Maryland for the drink, I'm at 16% now. Plus whatever your stupid, silly ass margins are, they're just increasing your profit margins with that 10%. I don't care how much the robot cost you. You shouldn't have went out and bought the son of a bitch.
I would say the viewers and the listeners out there just were able to hit a double on that one, because not only did they get an interesting news article, but they got a Dustin rant tied along with that one.
I think most people would agree with that too.
I think so too.
Pay your employees a livable wage.
Right.
You got them, they're out there, they're the face of your company. They should actually make a little bit more. I think in the restaurant industry, you should take care of your cooks and take care of your servers.
Yeah.
Your what your person that stands at the front door that greets guests, your greeter, whatever they call them. I don't, your host.
It's a
or
hostess, yeah, or
yeah.
host.
Is that a position you really need? You don't need to pay them a ton. You get away with minimum wage. You get a little high school kid or college kid in there to do that. Your bus boy, give him the opportunity to work in the kitchen a little bit and help so he can morph into that position that pays more, but you don't really need to pay him that well. It's a hard job, yeah. But, and that's what they say, well, the tips aren't just for the waitress. Man, I know a bunch of waitresses don't share their tips. So,
well, let's be honest. Here's a message to the food industry, pretty much, mimicking what you said. Stop screwing your workers in the food service industry, pay them a minimum wage, and in turn, your customers stop getting screwed over, because now we don't feel obligated to have to pay 15%, 10%, 20%. Most places now, it's like, come on, guys, get your shit together.
Yeah, even if you have to pay a little bit more for the menu items, because a lot of companies that do include gratuities in it, their menu prices are a little bit higher.
Right.
I understand that because that's cost of labor, cost of goods. It's the whole cost of business included in the price of the product. So I understand that. But don't tell me that I have to spend, if I take everybody out to eat and we go somewhere halfway decent, it's $120 for all of us. And then I have to give you another 20% of that. That's $22 for your server.
I get it.
So I'm at $150 going out to eat, because I do leave, and I normally tip over 20% because it's not their fault. But I think as a whole, get your shit together. We tip strippers and delivery drivers. Okay.
Yeah. And let's be honest, the whole reason you're going out is to show yourself and your loved ones or whoever you'd want to take out a good time. Why should we get price gouged for that?
Yeah. Companies would earn my business if they told me, and that's a great marketing ploy for a restaurant. Look, we pay our employees a minimum of $15 an hour. We make sure that they have good health insurance or decent health insurance, access to this. We give them paid time off. We have a standard. Come visit us. I would go see that business, especially if the food was good.
Hell yeah.
And that's the thing. Pay your employees better. You'll get better production from those employees.
Yeah. It goes hand in hand.
Yeah, I mean, you have a waitress, say she's worked all day and she's just having a bad day, hasn't made much on tips, and you come in and you kind of get the wrath of that waitress because she knows she's going home. She's worked a 10-hour shift and she's made $25 because her hourly pay, and maybe she got tipped $5 the whole day. So you get the bad service because she's tired. She wants to go home. She knows she didn't make any money that day. Yeah.
Everybody loses in that scenario.
Yeah.
Let's change things.
Let's change things. Let's change the world for the waitresses and
That's
waiters. Let's not leave out the men.
Well, you're right. That's all I got. That's all I got for the news this week. Nothing That was too crazy.
Yeah, and I think the news stories we go with, see, we're not trying to get you the stuff that you turn on Fox News and it just beats you down. Can you see the same news stories every day? We're trying to give you some insightful and interesting news and
Right.
some things that maybe slipped under the cracks that didn't get talked about. And Will is our news curator. It runs in his blood. He does a great job. And I appreciate that segment, and I appreciate the stories. They're very interesting, especially the one about Ukraine. I really went on with that one. I mean, but that's one of my interests is history and then warfare, like military history. So you probably knew
Sure.
that was going to get me. Yeah, you're the same way. You're or similar with that, like with your Vietnam and all that.
Sure.
So who's your favorite character out of Vietnam era movies like Platoon, Full Metal Jacket? Who's your favorite character out of those movies? If you had to
Oh,
pick
it's simple. It's Martin Sheen, Apocalypse Now.
Mark,
It was fantastic, man.
I go with Willem Dafoe and Platoon.
What about what about what did you think of Marlon Brando's uh and him in Apocalypse Now? I mean, did you think that was good? Did you like it?
Yeah, I'm not Apocalypse Now gets worn out because everybody and it's like the first uh part of the series whenever they're in boot camp and everything and like what's its name? Gomer Pyle and all that.
Oh, you're thinking of Full Metal Jacket.
Oh yeah, I am. Man, I get them mixed up. I get them mixed up. Sorry, that's my bad.
All good.
He does a good job. Marlon Brando's a classic actor, so I mean, what's not to love about him? He could pretty much do any role. So from a pure acting standpoint, Marlon Brando's the man. Apocalypse Now. How did I get those mixed up?
It's easy to do, man.
They all are gritty though. They're gritty and grimy, and they all have the same kind of feel. Even Rambo, like other than Rambo, just like after the first one, it goes extreme, and that's not even a real Vietnam movie. It's just Vietnam era.
But you can pretty much throw it into that category. But Apocalypse Now was a what's his name? Francis Ford
Coppola.
yeah, yeah. So he was the same guy I think that did the Godfather series, wasn't he?
Yeah, and Brando was in that as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. I think it just goes with his style. Like Martin Scorsese. They all have their own. Quentin Tarantino. They all have their own unique style of directing,
De
and their
Palma.
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, all those guys. They're man, hats off to making some great cinema. I
hell
like
yeah.
Del Toro, man. He's my guy. I like him.
Benicio del Toro.
Yeah, they're just
Yeah,
grimy.
he's
He
cool.
just he does like those what was that one he did? They're like grindhouse kind of movies that he did, like just a super gory and
Mm, man, I don't know.
pretty sure that was him. Maybe I don't know.
He
We
did
don't
Benicio del Toro, he was Fear and Loathing Vegas with Johnny Depp. He did Traffic. He did Sicario, which was a great movies if anybody's ever seen those.
we're thinking of I'm thinking of Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, cuz okay. Yeah, you might
Yeah.
maybe I screwed that one up.
Yeah. He didn't do any of that stuff that I was talking about though. I'm looking at it now. Yeah. I'd say, yeah, but Benicio del Toro, man, that
He's a beast.
do you
He's
want
a
to see
beast.
my knife, man?
Yeah. I love him as Alejandro in Sicarios. Have you seen those movies?
Man. Every time they're on, like whenever I'm scrolling,
Oh
like I
man.
always stop and I like look at it and I watch the little trailer and I'm like, I should probably watch it, but I don't know why.
Dude, they are so good. And Josh Brolin, co-stars in those movies. Oh man, I love them. It's both of them are great.
I should definitely watch them then because I'm like getting in, like I've researched the cartel and like that whole culture of like the whatever I can't speak Spanish. So like how they worship those like the idols and like the patron saint of like guns and like they
And
create their own.
smuggling. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man. Well,
That
I
shit's
don't want
just
to
wild.
yeah, I don't want to say it's cool. I'm not condoning any of that, but it's very interesting.
For sure, man. Just the whole culture of it, the whole underground culture, and man. And I was listening. It was Mike Black, I think, on Joe Rogan's podcast, and the CIA guy, and he was
Yeah,
going in. He was talking about how like the Sinaloa cartel, El Chapo, and everything. The way they came in and won villagers over was they'd come in and they'd, you know, they would increase the infrastructure. They would fix roads, bridges, provide water, plumbing, basic infrastructure, build houses, hospitals, put your grandkids through college. They really did a lot for the communities through drug money, but they were like Robin Hood. They were criminals, but they were taking care of the communities. They have this new generation, and I think back then this is where they started. They came into America, a lot of the cartels, and they were just offing. Like, you remember back in, like, we don't remember it. We weren't adults, but you can look it up. Like, gang violence was very prevalent in the late 80s, early 90s. Along come the Mexicans. Well, they just wiped out the American gangs. Like, they forced a lot of them to like merge together or start, at least cooperating, the cartels, because they would just come in and they were taking over the drug trade with violent abandon. I mean, they're like, this is ours. But they say, like, the scary thing is this new generation, the Jalisco new generation cartel, because they do the exact opposite of what El Chapo did. They go into these towns and they cut people's heads off. Like, the leaders of the communities, they go in and cut their heads off and put them on a pike. They're like raiders, dude. Like,
yeah.
from a post-apocalyptic movie, you would think like that's what the shit they're doing. Like, no, we're not coming in bringing lollipops and candy and shit. We're coming in with AKs and machetes. It's wild, that whole culture. And I mean, even but Colombia, they wanted to be businessmen,
Right.
like the cocaine, and that's where a lot of the cocaine trade. They wanted to, like, they thought they were ruthless. Don't get me wrong, but they wanted to be more of like a legitimate business, where the cartels, they ruthless, dude.
They didn't care. All right,
But,
what else? What else we got, man?
well, I
How
think
much we
I
good on
don't
time?
really, yeah, I mean, we're good on time forever, but I don't really know what all else we have to cover, man. We got the news, we got our Saints. I mean, there was one article that you kind of left out, and I'm gonna share a screen. Will found this article, and where did you say you found it?
Let me see. Give me 1 second to go back here and take a look. I'll pull it up. I found this article actually today, and it was originally posted on iflscience.com. And here is the article. Headline: Scientists were studying life on a new island, then it disappeared. And it captions a quote: "We didn't see what we were expecting." Maybe you want to go a little bit more on that. What did you find?
Yeah, so I'm gonna share my screen just for reference. Whenever I look it up, the whole name of the island that they found, I'm not really gonna get into because I'm not gonna butcher it. But Hungatanga is an island here. You can see it's in the South Pacific, close. If it's close to anything, I would say it's close to like Australia, New Zealand. Then you have like the French Polynesia, or the French, yeah, French Polynesian, Fiji, those islands that are kind of close to it. The American Samoa you can see here. But the article, more or less, like, whenever I went to Google it, there was nothing about it. So it's kind of interesting to me. You have Tonga here that is like its own little, I mean, you can see if I zoom in closer, it's got resorts, I'm sure people vacation there. Uh, there's some churches and stuff. So you look here, but then you go up here to Tonga. There's another Hunga Tonga. It's a volcano. But
Yeah,
around this,
right.
they're saying they're frozen islands. I don't know about having a frozen island in the South Pacific there. And it was interesting to me that, you know, the article was there and then it wasn't. So, I mean, is
Well,
it something like we
I
need to
was
get?
no, I was able to grab it back. I actually was able to find it. So this was the original article was posted on January 27th of this year at 11:28 a.m. Um, So I was able to find it. They didn't take it off. We thought they took it off, but when an underwater volcano erupted in 2015, it created a new island known as the Hunga Tonga Hunga Apai Island emerged from the ocean. It would live fast and die young with just a 7 year lifespan from emergence to submergence. But in those short few years, a team of scientists had to scan the novel island for signs of life. And a quote, these types of volcanic eruptions happen all over the world, but don't usually produce islands, said Nick Dragone, who is a CIRES PhD student who worked on the island. Continuing quote, we had an incredibly unique opportunity. No one had ever comprehensively studied the microorganisms on this type of island system at such an early stage before. It just keeps going on and on and on. I'm sure you can find the article itself, but it was interesting. So it looks like on January 15th, 2022, had a blast so strong. This was the volcano itself. It had a blast so strong that it launched a colossal plume of water to a height of 53 kilometers, which is 33 miles. The eruption transferred roughly 146 kilograms of water into the stratosphere and destroyed the island that Dragone and his colleagues had been working on right up until the catastrophic event. So apparently, this Hunga Tonga volcano destroyed the island that they were looking at. So now that island that they were studying is no longer existing.
That's wild, dude. Could you imagine? Like that's like if I don't know what they say. I don't really follow it because I think that's a little bit of pseudoscience. I guess it eventually could happen, but like Yellowstone, like the geysers and everything.
Yeah.
Like if Yellowstone actually were to explode, like that's a massive explosion. Luckily it wasn't really relatively close. Looking at that map, it's not close to any really other huge body of land. But I mean, that's a massive eruption. That would have done some serious damage if it were like on a mainland continent, you know, by a little town or something, or not even a town, small cities, big cities, even that would have hurt, man. But how did the island just disappear? That's something that I think I'm gonna keep tabs on that, the Hunga Tonga explosion. And because that's pretty interesting. How does it just vanish like that?
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit that goes on in these oceans and stuff, man. We should get in touch with Giorgio Tsoukalos.
Hell yeah.
Get the ancient astronaut theory on this and see what he's got to say.
Right?
It was
So,
aliens.
yeah, it's always aliens.
That was them blasting off. That wasn't. They told you it was a volcano eruption, but it was really the aliens. I love Ancient Aliens, but some of it's a little bit out there. But this is interesting. Like, how does an island like it's formed and then it just disappears? I mean, unless
I
there
don't
was another eruption, but they would have seen that if they're studying it.
Well, hopefully this is something maybe in future episodes we'll have a little bit more information for you guys on.
Yeah, that's pretty wild though. Like, and just to see like before, I Google Maps all the time. Like when I'm bored, I'll just sit around and go crazy places on Google Maps and see like what road systems look like in India and shit. And it's just one of the weird things I do. I do dumb shit sometimes. But I'm interested in seeing other parts of the world and parts that I'm probably never going to go to, or parts that I really don't want to necessarily. Like I don't have any dying urge to go to India.
Tonga
I'd like to
Tonga.
see how they live, but like something like this I've never seen because you have to zoom in so much just to see it because it's so small and like that area of the Pacific Ocean is so tiny. And
Right.
there's people out there that are probably like, well, I go to the Fiji Islands all the time, so I knew it was there. I've always known about it. And you're giving misinformation about the South Pacific, and I'm going to label you a racist for that. So, I don't know nothing about the South Pacific. That was why it was interesting to me, and I'm sure other people will find it interesting because we didn't know about it.
Yeah, we're
And
just curious.
I'm not an expert. I didn't go to college. I barely graduated from high school. They just gave me my diploma and was like, "Hey, we're glad to get him out of here."
Yeah, right.
This dude's cutting class, walking out in the middle of classes.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
they were like, "Let's get rid of this guy."
He was in there wilding.
Yeah, it was a wild time. But yeah, I think that's about it, man. I think we covered a fair share of topics. Pawn Stars was a classic as man. It's that's a great segment, man. I love doing that one. That one's so much fun just for me. So I don't care what people think about it. I like doing it. We're going to continue doing it
Hell
just because
yeah.
it's fun to do. I think we get some other scenarios too, maybe. I mean, I always want to do pick your Pawn Stars, but man, let's see. Who would you rather be with out of the Breaking Bad cast or something, or the cast of
Yeah.
Sons of Anarchy? Do like a quick switch up, like a remix. Still do Pawn Stars, or do tagging along with Pawn Stars. Like you can pick two from a separate cast.
Hell yeah.
Let's see what our audience thinks about that too. Like, and maybe we could get some submissions of like their favorite shows. And if we haven't seen them, we love watching, TV shows, especially like the reality shows like that. So if it's something we haven't heard of, I think our people should let us know. And if we haven't seen it before, we'll take a look at it. We'll take a gander and see, and maybe we'll uncover another classic, just like we're helping people find Pawn Stars.
And furthermore, we interact with any kind of feedback, so feel free to comment as much as you want, comment what you want. If you have any scenarios or any ideas for pick your pawn stars, we'd love to hear them. If you have any ideas for news topics for the week, we'd love to hear those too, because we love going in depth on the obscure news titles. So we're welcome and open to any feedback, hopefully as positive as possible, but we'll take what we can get.
For sure. Definitely. Anything helps. We appreciate it. And we definitely appreciate you guys hopping on and watching another episode of the UC or UBEC podcast. I keep saying UC. I keep wanting to go with UC, but it's UBEC podcast. It's been the Unholy Brotherhood of the Electric Church with me, Dustin, and Will as a co-host. We'll be back next Sunday. Check us out then, man. See y'all
You're
later.